The sun had long set over Babylon, and the exiled prophet Ezekiel sat quietly near the banks of the river Chebar. Around him, captives wept for Zion, but Ezekiel's eyes were lifted to the heavens. Suddenly, the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and the veil of time was torn away. He was carried into visions that reached far beyond his own generation, into the days of nations not yet born and wars not yet fought. Before him, Ezekiel saw a vast horizon darkened by storm clouds. From the north there rose a powerful leader, mysterious, fierce, and proud. His name was Gog, ruler of the land of Magog, a prince among nations. Behind him came a mighty alliance, kingdoms gathered together in one cause, war. The prophet's heart pounded as he recognized some of the names. Persia, the Lord said. Persia, known today as Iran, stood in the company of other nations. Cush from the south, Put from the west, and many peoples from the far corners of the earth. Their armies were like a flood, their banners like forests of spears. Ezekiel watched as they plotted their march against Israel, the covenant land of God. Their horses thundered like rolling storms, their chariots roared, and their soldiers shouted with voices that shook the valleys. The sky seemed to grow darker as the armies of Persia and her allies pressed toward the mountains of God's chosen people. It seemed hopeless. Israel was small, surrounded by enemies without number. Their strength could not match the countless warriors rising against them. Mothers clutched their children in fear, and men whispered prayers in the night. The whole earth seemed to hold its breath as the armies of Gog prepared to strike. But then, the voice of the Almighty broke through the heavens. It was like the roar of many waters, shaking the earth beneath Ezekiel's feet. "I am against you, O Gog, prince of Magog. I will bring you forth with all your armies, your horses, your horsemen, all clothed with armor, Persia, Cush, and Put with them. You will come against my people Israel, but in that day I will magnify myself before the nations." Ezekiel's vision grew more terrible. He saw the armies advancing confidently, their weapons glistening, their soldiers boasting. Yet just as their victory seemed near, creation itself turned against them. The earth trembled violently. Mountains crumbled, walls fell, rivers overflowed. From the sky, torrents of rain, massive hailstones, fire, and burning sulfur poured down upon the invaders. The proud soldiers of Persia stumbled in confusion. Chariots overturned in the mud, horses panicked, and warriors cried out as the wrath of God fell upon them. The unity of their armies shattered, and what they thought would be triumph became terror. Ezekiel saw fields littered with fallen weapons and lifeless bodies. The armies that had once seemed unstoppable lay broken, not by Israel's sword, but by the hand of the Almighty. The nations who had mocked God trembled, for they knew this defeat was not natural, it was divine. And in the silence that followed, the voice of the Lord declared, "I will show my greatness and my holiness. Then all nations will know that I am the Lord." Ezekiel 38:23. The vision burned into Ezekiel's soul. He realized this was no ordinary battle. This was not just another war among men. It was the third war, a climactic confrontation where God himself would reveal his power to the entire earth. Persia, ancient Iran, would one day stand in that alliance, not by accident, but because prophecy had spoken it long ago. Nations would rise and rage, but behind the chaos stood the sovereign hand of God, working out his plan. The message was clear: God's people need not fear. Though enemies surround them, though Persia and her allies gather, the victory does not belong to the armies of the world. The victory belongs to the Lord. Ezekiel's heart trembled, yet it was filled with hope. For beyond the terror of war, he saw a greater promise, that in the end, all kingdoms would bow, every tongue would confess, and the King of Kings would reign forever. And as the vision faded, the prophet whispered to his people and to all generations to come, "Do not be afraid of the nations. Do not be shaken by the wars to come. For the God of Israel is the God of all the earth, and he will never abandon his people." When you hear of wars and rumors of wars, do not be troubled. These things must happen, but the end is not yet. Mark 13:7. The kingdoms of this world have become the kingdom of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever. Revelation 11:15.